All right, hey guys, what's going on? So, doing the latest WNBA news, and we're gonna talk about the Dijonai Carrington trade from the Dallas Wings to the Minnesota Lynx. So, just talking about the trade grades, and I'm reading this article now. So, this is the breaking news. So, the Lynx bolster defense for title pushes. The Wings add another talent for rebuild. So you can see this is a picture of Dijonai Carrington. So, days after the 2025 WNBA trade deadline, August the 7th at 3. The league leading Lynx made a big swing to try to bolster their title chances. Early on Sunday, Lynx sent Diamond Miller, and Carly Samuelson, and a 2027 second round pick to the Dallas Wings for 2024's most improved player, Dijonai Carrington. Sunday's trade comes as the Lynx await the word on the severity of Nafisa Collier's ankle injury, which occurred late in the 53-point win over the Las Vegas Aces on Saturday, while the Lynx hold on to their breath on their front runner status. Let's grade the trade for both teams. So here's the summarization of the trade. So the Lynx received Dijonai Carrington. The Dallas Wings received Diamond Miller, Carly Samuelson, 2027 second round pick. The Lynx had graded, gave it a B. So the Lynx have been the best team in the league this season. They beat the Vegas Aces by 53, then improved to 24-5. 6-game lead over the New York Liberty in a race for the number 1 seed, and ranked first in offensive rating, defensive rating, and net rating with a plus-minus 15. As constructed, the Lynx had more than enough to compete for a title, but President of Basketball Operations Cheryl Reeve, who has come under fire after Collier suffered an ankle injury while the team was up by 43 against the Aces, did not hesitate to take at the chance to add more talent. Carrington had the best season of her career in 2024 when she was the most improved player, and she was named the All-NBA Defensive First Team and finished fourth in defensive Player of the Year voting. And the offseason trade to the Dallas Wings did not pan out. However, Carrington struggled to find a shooting. She was removed from the starting lineup after 12 games and failed to make the defensive impact the Wings were expecting. And if not, as if Carrington's defensive ability suddenly disappeared, and you would expect her to get back to her best in Minnesota. Reeve is one of the best defensive coaches ever. And the team has terrific infrastructure on the side of the ball, and Carrington will give another option to throw at the opponent's best perimeter players in the postseason. And the big question is how Carrington will fit in the Lynx 5-out offensive system that emphasizes ball movement and shooting. And over the last 2 seasons, the Lynx have been the borderline unguardable because everyone they put on the court can shoot, which spaces the floor and make decisions with the ball in their hands, which allows them to take advantage of the spacing. Carrington is a career 28.1% three-point shooter and has made 26% of her attempts this season, and has also never had assist rate higher than 12.9%. And has a negative assist to turnover ratio in 4 of her 5 seasons. In her 20 games with the Wings this season, she had 36 assists and 49 turnovers. Come playoff time, teams will be able to ignore Carrington, which will muck up the Lynx offense when she's on the court. Will Carrington's defense be strong enough to make the trade off worthwhile against certain matchups? Possibly, but the Lynx already had the best defense in the league, and it's hard to overstate how bad Carrington has been on the offense this season. Carrington's accolades from last season will suggest that this is a bigger acquisition than it is for the Lynx. For the price, though, it's worth the swing. And Carly Samuelson out for the season, foot injury, and a second round pick in 27 is meaningless for the Lynx. And there certainly is a chance they regret giving up on Diamond Miller, but it is clear that Reeves didn't trust the former number 2 overall pick The Lynx are trying to win a title this season, and Carrington gives them a better chance to do that than even if the latter could end up in being in a better players years down the line. And for the Wings, Dallas Wings, they grade from CBS, they gave it an A. And at the disastrous injury-filled 2024 season, the Wings overhauled the front office, coaching staff, and roster during the winter. Kurt Miller came in as the general manager. Chris Cocklangs was hired as the coach, and they added more than half a dozen new players, including #1 overall pick Paige Bueckers and veterans Nyla Smith, Maisha Hines-Allen, and Carrington. And the Wings hope to get back to the playoffs this season while also building for the future. Instead, they started a 1-11, and major questions have been raised about Cocklangs' ability to be a head coach, while Bueckers has been as advertised, and our fellow rookie guards Azia James and J.J. Quinterly have some bright moments, but this has been a frustrating season for Dallas. And one of the few things have done well this season is they acted decisively when it became apparent that they were going nowhere. Oh, Wyatt, hey, how's it going? I'm doing all right. Now I'm just reading this article. There's a big trade that happened with Dijonai Carrington from the Lynx. Dijonai Carrington doing the used to play for the Dallas Wings, but got traded to the Lynx. I'm just reading this article about Dijonai Carrington and looking at the trade grades from what I'm seeing from CBS. That's all. Oh yeah. But yeah, getting back to what I was saying. Back in June, Miller sent Smith to the Vegas Aces for the 2027 first-round pick. He's continued to tear down the deal that sends Carrington to the Lynx for Miller and a former lottery pick. Samuelson was included to make money work, and the extra draft pick has never been a bad thing. But this deal has been acquiring Diamond Miller. And there's clearly still a player there. And when did Miller get a chance to play? She's often performed, and in the 4 games she received in the last 15 minutes of playing time this season, she's averaged 9.5 points on 76.5% shooting, 1.5 rebounds, and 1.5 assists. Her outside shooting remains a concern, and which is one of the reasons why she didn't get much of a chance in Minnesota. But she is the size and athleticism to be a unique two-way force in the wing. And Dallas, she will get a chance to prove herself. And this is another excellent mid-season trade by Miller. Carrington is underperforming and was going to be an unrestricted free agent in the winter. Flipping her from Miller, who is under team control through the 2026 season, could be a pivotal movement in the Wings rebuild around Bueckers. All right, so my thoughts about the Dijonai Carrington trade from the Dallas Wings to the Minnesota Lynx for Diamond Miller and Carly Samuelson, and was made under the impression from the coach Cheryl Reeve, and of course what happened with Chad Cocklangs for the Dallas Wings. I think this trade really helps out for the Lynx defensively, even though they was already, from what I read and from what I saw, ranked as the best team defensively from deficiency rating and offensive rating and net rating. So they've been ranked in the top of the league. That's why they're 24-5. But I think this helps the Lynx out defensively as far as the steals, as far as getting out in transition, and as far as adding a lot of layers and depth, depending for the guard play. I think that really helps them out more, and also is a relief stress for Courtney Williams, and for a little bit more for the price of the greater cause of good for them. For the Dallas Wings, adding Diamond Miller and adding Carly Samuelson already to a team with veteran players and Paige Bueckers and Nyla Smith, Paige and J.J. Quinterly. I think that's a really good addition for them in the sense, and I think this will help them out in the long run, to build and add up for the future. for the future of the team, to add more veteran and young player presence. They just got to get up. They went through a lot of growing pains this season. With a bad start defensively, they wasn't getting a whole lot of stops, and especially in transition. But with the Lynx, I think this adds a lot more to what's going on since they're still the number 1 seed in the WNBA in the conference, in the main conference. So they're gonna add a lot more flair and gonna add a lot more pace to add a lot more spacing and get a lot more defensively and steals in transition, altering shots on other guards. I think Dijonai Carrington adds and helps them out with that sense. So this is a really good move for them, and I think this really pushes them a little bit over the top and over the edge, as far as I'm concerned. So more is going to be added and more is going to be looked at for the Lynx, and I really do believe that they're going to add something more left to the table. So I like the move overall. I think this is going to add some more. It's going to add a lot more tension for them, and it's going to add a lot more what has already been set for expectations. And we'll see. Of course, we'll see what's going on with Nafisa Collier's ankle injury. And I will give you guys an update more on that in another video. But yeah, just overall, I think this is a good move for them, and I like what they plan on doing for the future. So we'll see about that. Now, let's talk about what just transpired. I just got done watching the Fever and the Seattle Storm game that just took place. Let me get to that. So the Fever won 78-74. I watched this game from the moment in the second quarter all the way up until late in the fourth. The Fever were up by double digits for the majority of the game into the fourth quarter. The Storm came in and had an absolute comeback in the third. They were on a 13-1 run. They were on a 10-1 run in the fourth quarter, cut the lead all the way down to 1 point. The story was pretty much for the Storm was Nneka Ogwumike and Gabby Williams. Skylar Diggins came in and got 4 points in the fourth quarter. She had 6 in the third, which led her to get 13 points towards the end. She was absolutely getting her shot off, getting a few steals, getting in transition. Seattle Storm's defense was pretty much the story of the game. First forced 16 turnovers on the Fever, although the Fever had won. And while that was the thing, the defense got them back in the game, and they was forcing the issue. They also on their end, they got 15 turnovers, which did not help matters on them, and they kind of went like at least scoreless in the start of the third quarter, which did not help them at any matters. But once we got down late, 5 minutes, and once there was 5 minutes late in the third quarter, and then late down the stretch in the fourth, they tried to make a comeback, but I just didn't think it was enough. And I saw what transpired off the bench from Dominique Malonga. She had a solid game. 21 minutes, she had 12 points. Like I said, Gabby Williams and Nneka Ogwumike really did their thing. Overall, they really added a lot of trust and added a lot of juice. And then let's talk about the Indiana Fever, because they've been on a 5-game winning streak. Natasha Howard was the story of the game, along with Sophie Cunningham's 4 out of 5 3-pointers. The Fever was struggling, went on a cold streak. Went on an absolute cold streak from the 3-point line. They were like 4 for 25. They were struggling for the entire game. They couldn't hit nothing. Kelsey Mitchell was absolutely struggling from the field. She was like 3 for 14. She only had like 9 points for the entire game. But Natasha Howard had 21 points. She was a line of 11 from the field. Aaliyah Boston had once again had a 6 career double-double. And Sophie Cunningham was just absolutely dominant. She was absolutely just explosive from the field, and she get her open looks and and created more spacing on the floor. When she gets to her spots from the 3-point line, she was just hitting. She was 4 for 5 from the 3-point line, and she was just able to get to her spots. So that was really just opened a lot of space for Alita Boston to get inside. So that was a really good moment for them. Ari McDonald, she did not have a great game shooting wise, but her impact on the floor pretty much is what made the fever pretty much just sparked and popped out overall. And they're gonna need that when the playoffs happens. Now the question is, when Caitlin Clark does come back, how will the Fever kind of work with managing her playing time and managing her minutes? Like, will they find ways to keep her in that starter rotation? Will she kind of like be more or less coming off the bench? I don't think that's gonna happen. But what will be the thing to manage for Caitlin Clark if you're the Fever and if you're Stephanie White? The one thing I would say they need to manage is probably cut down her minutes. I would probably say cut her minutes down because I think she's playing like close to 30, if not a little bit over 30 minutes a game. You might need to cut her minutes down a bit to really like nurture and manage the injury, because growing injury, and then also just manage her injury history now, even from a rookie season. I mean, because there are times when she was injury prone, and she came back, she'll play decently, and then she re-injured herself. So that's the thing. You can't trust a lot of your star players with the injuries, because you don't want them to re-fracture anything, re-damage or tear anything up that they already have done. So those are the things if you're the Fever coaching staff, if you're Stephanie White, that's the only thing. I probably would cut her minutes down and probably like work on like just adjusting and easing her way into the lineup without kind of messing up things what's going on. So because you're already on a 5-game winning streak, you've been playing pretty well, in my opinion. And this is a season where this is going to be championship or bust. Expectations are very high, and you want to meet your expectations. So that's what I would say. I would say to them, and the message to them I would give to the coaching staff and Stephanie White and them. That's the thing I would get that as a message. Just know that you're trying to do things the right and proper way. And for the Seattle Storm, you guys have weathered the storm throughout. You weathered, no pun intended, you weathered the storm throughout. You pretty much gave it all you got, but just wasn't enough. It just wasn't enough overall. So I would just say kind of go to the next game, forget about it, knowing that you guys finding some way to at least make a run for the postseason. Hopefully, you don't want to lose any more games down the stretch, and just hopefully you just get close to get on the winning streak, get on the hot streak if you're the Seattle Storm. So those are my thoughts on the Fever and Storm game. Tell me what you guys think down in the comment section. Let me see. There was one more story I wanted to do real quick. Alright, okay. Something I wanted to talk about, I just can't think about it. Oh. There we go. That's what I was looking at. Alright guys, so the things, the latest NBA news, Luka Doncic has agreed to a 3-year max, 3 years, $165 million max extension with the LA Lakers. Let me cut this down. So the Lakers and Luka Doncic view the Luka Doncic as the future, and the team inked the 26-year-old to a 3-year, $165 million max extension on Saturday. And the deal includes a player option for 2028, and he is now eligible for a projected 5 years and $417 million in 2028. Today, Luka Doncic chose the Lakers, said the Lakers general manager Rob Pelinka during the Saturday press conference, and that is the monumental moment in Lakers history. We cannot be more grateful. The move doesn't come as a major surprise since he debuted with the Dallas Mavericks during the 2018-19 NBA season, and Luka Doncic has performed like one of the best players in the NBA. He won Rookie of the Year award that season and is a 5-time All-Star and has 5 MVP finishes in the top 8. It was always expected that the Lakers would sign Luka Doncic to a long-term deal after the team traded Anthony Davis, Max Christie, and a first-round pick to the Dallas Mavericks in February in exchange for Doncic. You don't acquire a player of Doncic's caliber and allow him to walk just after a year and a half. Prior to the extension, Doncic was set to enter what could have been the final year of his contract. He held a $48 million player option for the 26-27 NBA season, and then it's almost certainly would have declined in favor of receiving a massive deal on the free agent market. Oh, Tony Rodriguez, hey, how's it going? The Lakers were never going to get Doncic to get to that point. This is why the max extension was always assumed. And the bigger question surrounding Doncic's new contract was his length. With Doncic signed, the Lakers now have their future secured. Doncic melded with the team after being acquired in February in 28 games in LA and Los Angeles. Doncic averaged 28.2 points, 8.1 rebounds, 7.5 assists, and essentially the same numbers he averaged with the Mavericks. Following the Lakers' postseason elimination, head coach J.J. Redick challenged the team to get in championship shape, which perceived as a challenge aimed at Doncic, whose conditioning has been questioned during his career. By all accounts, Doncic heard a message that he had dropped significant weight ahead of the 2025-26 NBA season, as he showed on the cover of Men's Health magazine. Doncic adopted a gluten-free, low-sugar diet, took part in intermittent fasting, and engaged in 2-day workouts while training in Croatia, he told the magazine. And following the Lakers' early playoff exit to the Minnesota Timberwolves, Doncic wanted to get back to work immediately. And with LeBron James back and Luka Doncic possibly in the best shape of his career, the Lakers will enter the year with championship aspirations, while James' future with the franchise remains a question. And he is 40 and only under contract for one more season. Doncic is talented enough to make the team a perennial contender after James leaves or retires. And being a Laker is an honor. I wanted to be here. I wanted my name up there someday, and we're going for it. That was always the plan when the team pulled off its shocking trade for Doncic in February following Saturday's extension. Now it's the team's reality. Okay. So what do I think about Luka Doncic's extension? $165 million for 3 years, max extension. What are my thoughts? So it was inevitable that Luka Doncic was going to get this kind of money because, number one, the Lakers were trying to bank on him for the future, and I believe they had no other choice to do this kind of deal, because you don't make these kind of deals and let go one of your best big men and a future all-star caliber player that could have been there when he develops a Max Christie and draft picks. You need to develop your future, and you need to develop your talent right as you can see it. I just don't understand what was going on with Nico Harrison and the Dallas Mavericks and what they were seeing when letting him go. Now, granted, he was, out of shape and everything, but that shouldn't have been the reason to let anybody go. Zion Williamson been out of shape for the New Orleans Pelicans for I don't know how long, and he still ain't been in shape at all. And they still kept him, and they still signed him to a max extension contract. That's just because the way the league is pretty much, and the collective bargaining agreement has upped the ante of their salary and up the ante of the cap space and the marketing. You can't afford to lose any talent, especially talent just go into any free agency. You build around your star players, you build around your franchise, and you give them and you hold them to the fire. Now with this kind of contract, it has a level of expectations for them to win multiple championships. That's what you're saying with this kind of contract dealing. But if I'm the Lakers, the future for LeBron James, you don't worry about that. You let LeBron worry about that. Because he's pretty much 40 years old. He's on his way out of there, and let him be on the last year of his contract. He'll probably still be around in the league, but he'll pretty much be on his way out of there and possibly retiring soon. A lot of people will be excited when that day comes. But back to Luka, yeah, it to me, I think this deal will work out because I think they'll add more depth later on, and with DeAndre aiding, and also with the addition of Marcus Smart. I don't know what having Marcus Smart they're gonna help any matters, because he pretty much is gonna mostly get in the way. I don't know what that's gonna pretty much do, but in my opinion, I think this is a good move for the Lakers now, so you ain't got to worry about it later on or even during the deadline. You ain't got to worry about restructuring anything or waiting till the next offseason. You get it done right away, and you let the guy be who he is. So I think that's a good move, and I think that's a good thing for the Lakers. And I like the fact that they have something to fall back on. Now, as far as the team goes, you got to get better in transition defense, and you got to get better when the next offseason comes, which is be in October, a little bit while during the NFL season starting. So they need to develop that moving forward, and they need to develop trying to building a structure and building something around Luka and for the future overall. So if they want to get to a championship, so that's just my overall thoughts. About the contract extension for Luka. Tell me what you guys think down in the chat room and down in the comment section. Let me check to see what you guys are saying down in the comment section. Oh, Sonya the Scene Girl. Hey, how's it going? You said I got introduced to the show How to Make It in America. Oh, okay. I haven't seen anything about that show. I'm gonna check it out. And why? Yeah, like I said, I'm doing okay. Yeah, said go Liberty. Yeah, the Liberty kind of been up and down. Hopefully when Breonna Stewart and others come back, from their injuries, I think they'll be okay. I think they'll be fine. The playoffs is a different animal. You'll see the women go hard, and the Liberty, I believe, will definitely be ready for it. They're a team that is destined for it, and they love to make noise when it's all said and done. So we'll see how that goes, and we'll see where it leads moving forward. But overall, that's just my thoughts about the latest WNBA news and NBA news. I'm gonna be back probably either tonight or maybe later on. Well, not later on tomorrow, but early on tomorrow morning. I got a couple more stories I want to get to you. So, all right then, guys. I will see you guys later. I am out. Peace. Thank you all for watching. Yeah. Talk to you in the next one. Oh, Zara Jane. Hey, how's it going? Yeah, I'm just about to get on out of here, but thank you guys for watching.